Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the Langley Event Center for this, the 74th annual 2024 BC School Sports Girls Basketball Provincial Championships presented by Uber Teen Accounts. Tonight's 4A championship game features the Seaquam Seahawks from Delta and the Riverside Rapids from Port Coquitlam. Now let's meet the teams. First, the Seaquam Seahawks. At guard, number 2, Syra Tour. Another guard, number 5, Kelly Brost. Another guard, number 6, Annika Das. Guard number 7, Rana Amarkil. Guard number 8, Priya Tour. Another guard number 10, Maya McKenzie. She's a forward number 12, Idea Esteraga. And at guard number 13, she is Mackenzie Henderson. At forward number 14, Cameron Tate. And forward number 15, Neelam Sidhu. She's at center, number 21, Sydney Roufosse. And finally at forward, number 22, Seaquam Intros. Head coach is Lucky Tour. Assistant coaches Jim Sidhu, Taylor Kelly, Nisa Sutter, Amy Saris, and Doug McKenzie. The Seaquam Seahawks. And now the defending champions of British Columbia, the Riverside Rapids. Guard number 1, Kaylee Check. Guard number 3, Caitlin Vergara. Another guard number 4, Annabelle Neufeld. Guard number 5, Michaela Campanile. She's a guard number 6, Isla Kelly. And another guard number 9, Avery Sussex. Guard number 12, Alenda Benjersfeld. Guard number 13, Malia Mendoza. Forward number 14, Ray Roycroft. And another forward, number 21, Hannah Burke. At guard number 22, she is Georgia Hart. For number 23, Olivia Wheatley. And finally at for number 33, Natalie McCutcheon. Coaches Paul Langford and Jeremy Feld, the Riverside Rapids. The officials for tonight's championship game are John Cavalier, Mark Regan, and Gilda Moore. Now at this time, we ask you all to please rise, remove your hats, and join Lauren West in the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
A rousing rendition of O Canada, courtesy of Lauren West, and boy, that was a great accompaniment by the young people in the crowd singing O Canada. Cheryl Jean-Paul, Howard Spur here. It is game 4 of our championship Saturday, ready to put a cap on one of the greatest Saturdays we've already seen in the history of girls high school basketball. And the Riverside Rapids, the defending BC champs in their whites, Avery, Sussex, all everything for Riverside. She has the basketball right now wearing, well, that's Georgia Fox, excuse me. Now back to Avery wearing number 9. Mariah Mendoza right back to Avery. First shot too strong off the back iron. Cameron Tate with the rebound. Tour with the basketball now as she goes down low and looking for Roufosse. Syra Tour.
We've talked about establishing your best looks early, and obviously Avery with an outside shot, getting a good look, and then coming inside and trying to go to Sydney Roufosse because she established herself as a great inside presence yesterday. So we'll see who gets that first basket in this game. Great offensive rebound.
That's a great observation. As Neelam Sidhu started yesterday's game, Sydney Roufosse did not. And clearly Roufosse was an energy motor player. And also, I don't know how you feel about the matchup of Neelam Sidhu in there versus Sydney against this Riverside team in particular. Olivia Wheatley is there for the Rapids.
Well, you know, you have versatility with your roster. It's great to have when you have multiple weapons that you can go to inside. And so I'm sure we'll see an equal amount of both of them in today's game.
Roufosse gets the old board. Another opportunity too. One bounce, but too many Rapids making life tough down on the baseline for the Seahawks. North Delta has not won a team from North Delta, as they said, has not won a BC Senior Girls Varsity title in any tier since the 80s. This is a historic night for them to try and unseat the defending BC Championships and the pre-tournament #1 seeds. Blocking foul called against Mendoza. Malaya Mendoza getting called there, so Tate will get the Seahawks back up the floor. Still no score here after a minute and a half of tenseness being worked out by both teams. Callie Brost on the baseline slings it back out right through the hands of Syra Tour.
Both teams are pushing at each other a little bit, costing them a few possessions here and there. But again, you might want to see how far you can push. You know, you just don't want to play with reservation, but sometimes the cost of that is a few turnovers and a little bit overstimulation when it comes to setting solid screens or even just movement scores. So these teams will settle down really quickly.
Sussex with the basketball. Turnaround shot, and that is going to fall. And there's a larger than life-size Sussex head in the crowd here today. She's at a new level of popularity.
You know, I like that inside look for Avery Sussex as their first scoring basket.
Underneath they go, and Tate's going to get the offensive rebound and the putback.
And a great start to offense for Tate.
Before she got down the floor in a hurry, gets a block on Georgia Hart. Olivia Wheatley picks it up on the baseline. Little scoop off the window for Olivia. And she's going to score the basketball there. So 4-2 now for Riverside.
We've seen a lot of teams struggle with Riverside's full court press, so we'll see how Seaquam handles it. And so far, they haven't seemed thrown off by the full court pressure. But again, Avery has found what she can get when it comes to the matchup that she has. And as much as this is a great defender that has her, she went straight inside and looked for that post up and is able to finish over top of her. So we'll see if they send extra help for that. An inadvertent whistle. They're going to keep playing.
We thought we heard one.
Stop it. And I think there was a half whistle maybe.
That was clearly a sound we heard that slowed up the play, but it continues, and Sid Roufosse underneath is going to thread the needle down low. Here's Avery underneath. The foul is going to get called against Priya Tour, number 8 underneath. That'll send Avery to the free throw line. If you read the pages of Varsity Letters, you can look at the sneakers. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell from our live stream, but Georgia Hart and Avery Sussex share the same shoe size, and they buy 2 pairs and wear one each of different color. And our writer Dan Kinvig picking up on that one yesterday, and Avery admitting that one of the many superstitions they carry out onto the court together is the dynamic pair for these Rapids. That one again for the second time in a row, thrown right into the front row of Riverside supporters.
You know, they're getting the ball over top of the middle of that press, which is great, but then Callie just has to maintain possession. You've got the ball in the front court with a lot of shot clock. You don't need to rush that first entry pass. And so that baseline kick to the corner has been a costly turnover, but they're going to figure that out soon enough. They just need to settle down into the half court once they break the press and get a better scoring look.
Into the post they go to Avery. She looks so natural down there.
Again, we talked about that size mismatch. I mean, she's not that much bigger of a guard, but she knows exactly what she wants to do.
Oh my goodness, Olivia Wheatley. I was going to use the word clothesline, but that'd be a little bit strong.
You know, I don't think we've used the word chippy yet today, and I feel like we might be using that phrase a lot today. We're seeing a little bit of extra contact between different players, and they know each other so well. They probably are going on the 100th in terms of times that they've played against each other in all the different arenas that they play.
It's crazy.
So no one is going to back down, and the officials are going to have to be on top of some of those earlier chippy things so that it doesn't get out of control.
And these referees been graded throughout the tournament. They've got the best crew here for the championship final, I would assume, and they Seahawks able to make the Rapids pay for the foul there, pulling to win a possession here early. A den of noise, absolute temple of basketball worship here. They are so into this game. Avery in the post again, and she will lay it up and in.
So that's 3 inside touches, 3 inside scores. what are the adjustments that the Seaquam Seahawks are going to have to make to handle some of those inside scoring looks for her? It's not one of those things where you can just hope that you can outscore Riverside. I don't see a lot of teams that have had success doing that.
Dish inside to Sydney Roufosse, deflected, and a turnover now. Riverside minding their business on the defensive end as well. Here's Sussex breaking down the Seahawks off the dribble, and she lays it up and in. Avery's paint's all coming in the paint. Tate, what a job weaving through the paint. Such incredible balance and body control to go along with that wingspan.
We talk about matchups that they maybe not, and look at some of the smaller guards that are handling Avery. They're getting her inside the key right away, trying to get her touches, but Cami Tate, you're going to have to find her quickly too, because she'll find her way to the rim with her multiple scoring looks.
Kelly Bross now leading the Seahawks back down the floor. They're trailing by 5. Tries a tough shot off the window. Roufosse with the offensive rebound. The turnaround shot's not going to go, but Bross there again. Trying to kick it out. There's a triple team underneath. Tate will take it inside. Oh, magic power to the basket. Cameron Tate with a beautiful move there to lay it up and in. 13-10.
Your best players getting their best looks early, and we're seeing some great teamwork in terms of supporting that. Great backup there, Georgia Hart. Great finish to the rim. Seems like we've got another high-scoring game on our hands.
So much half-court precision from the Rapids, but the Seahawks right in this game, and Cameron Tate will say hello with a big 3. 15-13 the score here. What a basketball game early, but should we be surprised on this magical day? Sussex inside gets the roll. Count that baby. (17-13) the score. Avery knifing through the defense and getting the roll. Coach, we got to talk about, there's a timeout on the floor. Avery Sussex, any thought that she might not have come ready to play, I think we can throw those out the window.
Well, you know, the concept of don't settle, she's not settling.
Yeah.
And you know, they've switched both to her sisters on her, and it hasn't mattered to her. She is finding her way and kind of finding her dominance in the game. Now what's going to happen now is defensively, either they have to switch the matchups or they're going to have to send extra help. But you know how dangerous it is when you help too much off of someone else who can shoot the ball or someone else that can score. So it's really going to be about not necessarily the first line of help, but the second and the third. Can you keep getting 2 or 3 more rotations to help? So we'll see. Cami Tate's been scoring at will in some ways on that end. Avery Sussex on this end. You want your best scorers getting their best shots. Now defensively, what's your adjustment?
Yeah, Tate, of course, the MVP of the TBI tournament here in December, and of course the team they beat that night was the Riverside Rapids. So that adds to the intrigue here. And there certainly isn't the absolute invincibility factor that we've had with teams in the past years. Teams have beaten Riverside this year. Certainly doesn't happen often, but this Rapids team come to play today, trailing by 4, but now at the free throw line with Sussex.
So an interesting storyline here. The officials are asking the game director that there seems to be a whistle that's happening somewhere in the stands, which is why players are getting a little bit thrown off by what's happening. So you're going to hear an announcement here to make sure. To be honest though, there are some kids in the stands that when they scream, it's awful like a whistle too. So we want the fans to remain fans and not to disrupt the style of play, and obviously it impacts the officials and the players as well.
But that was such a strange whistle in that one play in our end of the floor here, because you said the word half whistle, and that's exactly what it sounded like. It's like they thought, oh, I better not blow this thing. Well, we'll keep our ears open at the miss on the free throw there by Sussex. Tate to McKenzie. Ooh, and there it is, Mackenzie Henderson. That's her special gift to the Seahawks offense. She can knock down the triple with great regularity.
One of the things that we've seen, especially from the better teams, is the ability for a player to come in and do exactly what she's supposed to do. Didn't start gets into the game 5-6 minutes in, first touch of the game, corner 3. That's someone who knows their job.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Neelam Sidhu is now into the game. Sydney Roufosse on the bench. So 15 started yesterday, has started regularly, but this shows the depth of the Seaquam team. Neelam now with a touch in the high post. Queuing up the 3, doesn't miss by much. And Neelam, what a job she does inside. Just can't get the roll. Avery with the rebound. Sussex, Wheatley cross court to Neufeld. Annabelle in the paint. The cutters, Georgia to the rim. Great basket on that basketball. Count that, baby.
You know, sometimes when coaches look at substituting, you know, in terms of who starts which game, oftentimes they look at who is coming in onto the floor that someone can handle. So Sydney Roufosse may be a better fit for the starting group. Neelam comes in, they go to a little bit of a smaller lineup with the Riverside. Maybe that's the match they're hoping to find so that it's not a mismatch coming onto a mismatch.
A miss there, a rebound by Neufeld. Annabelle trying to draw the foul, Hart as well. Inside, Georgia is not going to get it. That's a tough break, and Isla Kelly now into the game for Riverside. They call it jump ball, and it's going to favor the Seahawks. Ray Roycroft, number 14, in now to play some tough defense inside as Wheatley takes a seat on the bench for the Rapids.
One of the things that Seaquam's going to have to think about is, are their defensive rebounds able to clear space to create transition scoring looks? Riverside is really jamming the rebounder regardless. So it's going to be an interesting game of battle, physical battle, and how the refs also handle some of these, because you can't tell me there's not a lot of contact right now, and I think that's what perhaps one of the coaches is talking to the official about right now. But the players are just playing hard, so...
Oh, I just love this. This is so incredible. The atmosphere is just wild. And the security here pushing the Riverside snare drums back. Keeping everybody safe here in the building. Here's Kelly guarded by Brosson. Entry into the paint and post up there by Georgia Hart. And the foul is going to get called from behind. Was it? Was it a foul? No,
it was a call. That was Cameron Tate's first foul of the game. Holding on off ball, so they're just going to go to a baseline possession here.
Underneath the Roycroft, over the goal and into the hands of Syra Tour. To the corner to Tate, now to Tour. We're getting close to 10 on the shot clock here. Inside they go, and from behind, Avery. Sussex getting a partial block. Look at Tate, look at that. Oh my goodness. Neelam, back up top they go. 3-ball. Mackenzie Henderson knocks down their second triple of this quarter. And it's tied at 19. Bring out all your weapons. Neufeld. That's a nice sign for Annabelle Neufeld, turning a corner and scoring a power hoop down low.
Yeah, that's the definition of muscling the ball in on that one. But again, we talked about this physical play that both teams are initiating, and so the refs are saying, listen, if you're going to initiate that contact, then you got to live with the outcome, and both teams are just playing through it. The coaches are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and so are the players, and again, I think the officials are doing a great job of just allowing the players to play tough basketball right now.
That's tremendous to see, and very few stoppages, just a natural flow of talent between these two teams. Here's Sussex. Avery was looking for Hart in the corner instead. Henderson's going to put it up. And it's not going to fall here. 21-19 the score. Riverside with a 2-point lead. And that was a very interesting initial look at what we're going to see for another 3 quarters here. And a 2-point lead here for Riverside. Avery Sussex has come to play. So has Cameron Tate. For course, that meeting here in December was not played before a crowd this size, of course, but still had a great feeling in the air that these are two really good teams, and we're going to see a special treat here. These are the Argyle Pipers of North Vancouver.
So these are actually the junior girls, I believe, who had their provincial championship just recently. And obviously giving the basketball community an opportunity to celebrate them. And typically the junior girls have been at this tournament and not this year, replaced by the single A.
Giving the girls their spotlight. This is tremendous.
They got some t-shirts to give away. Who wants a free t-shirt?
And the Argyle Pipers, congratulations to them as they leave the court here. And they get a chance to soak up the atmosphere of the sold-out crowd here at the Langley Event Center as they head back to their seats. Congratulations to those young ladies and all they've done in their season with a great basketball school out in the North Shore. Back to main action here. Seaquam,
Yeah, okay.
they've got the basketball set to inbound.
Sorry, I don't think those were the junior girls. I think those were the grade 8
I was
girls.
thinking they looked a little young for juniors.
Yeah.
I think Semiamu won the junior championship.
right.
Yeah. That one intercepted, and Hart, Syra Tour trying to guard her, and is going to take the foul on Georgia, who's got the size advantage down low. So 21-19. And Hart now at the free throw line with a chance to extend the lead. Interesting to look at that opening quarter box score, and Riverside really effective and efficient. They only took 2 3-pointers, missed them both. They were 10 of 18 overall from the field, 56%. Seaquam 7 of 21 for 33%. Two coaches, of course, Lucky Tour, the Seaquam head coach, and Paul Langford, the Riverside head coach. Michaela Campanelli now into the game, number 5 to inbound for the Rapids. That one is going to go right out of bounds. Campanelli, Roycroft, Sussex, Kelly, and Hart on the floor right now for Riverside.
That pass going a little bit long, no touch, so they go back to the place of the inbound instead of where the ball goes out of bounds, just in case fans are confused by where they inbounded the ball.
Three-pointer, that is the third three-pointer of the half for Mackenzie Henderson of the Seahawks. From contact underneath, Kelly gives Ross the shove on the baseline.
The last time we saw these two teams play, I felt that we were saying Mackenzie Henderson's name quite often when it came to hitting some outside shots, but a name that we didn't use was Isla Kelly, who was not eligible yet at that point. So a new feature to this Riverside team, and we'll see the kind of impact that she can make going into this game.
Yeah, a nice boost for the Rapids in the new year, getting Kelly eligible to play for the team, and she's going to make that one. Terrific game shaping up here as we keep it within a possession here. Syra Tour coming down the floor now. Surrendered, Kelly takes over, wraparound pass looking for Neufeld, and Syra, a measure of revenge, getting the ball back and getting her team right back down the floor with Tate. Cameron Tate drops it off. Syra high arcing 3, well off the mark there. Underneath though, Roufosse is back in the game, and that's Sussex that fouled her underneath the basket, I think it was.
No, I believe that foul was on Olivia Wheatley, actually. number 22.
Wheatley, okay. Wheatley getting called for the foul. Wheatley's 23, though. Georgia Hart's 22. So, isn't it right?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So Hart with the foul, and it's her first. That one through the hands of Annabelle Neufeld. What's happening in this game? I'm losing a feel for kind of what's happening.
You know, both teams are really pushing hard, but they're overextending a little bit. So you're seeing some of these too much passes, which are costing them turnovers. But because both teams are doing it equally, no one's really able to, claw into a double-digit lead like we've seen in some of the other games. So again, we kind of talked about settling into this game, going to your scoring looks. We'll see if that's a sign of what both teams can do here. Cami Tate again off the dribble, getting to the rim, a lot of contact.
Seaquam now back in control. We're trailing by 1 here. Tate loses the ball. Georgia Hart doing a good job there. Hart to Kelly, gets the inside edge there on Neelam Sidhu, but can't find the finish underneath. The whistle blows, and it will be Seaquam basketball.
You know, we've seen 3 games of teams playing in momentum, but with more composure. So we're going to see if some of these teams, maybe you asked a question earlier today, what do these teams do all day waiting for this game? They wind up tighter and tighter. That's what they do.
And right now, a lot of them are spinning like tops on the floor as the ball is not often sometimes going to its intended target. Well, here's someone who's been on target, this time finally missing. Mackenzie Henderson had hit 3 triples. Sussex behind the back and up. Oh, she couldn't get the finish. And that is a heavy fall. Henderson took the worst of that when Sussex fell on top of her. She's shaking it off quickly as she goes back up the floor.
Again, a lot of extra contact there a little bit. Falling down, accidentally falling on each other, accidentally, maybe giving it a little elbow or knee. And again, the intensity of this game, the officials are whistling this down to maybe settle it down a little bit.
Picking up on that vibe clearly here. There's nothing cheap, but it's there are elements of a backstreet basketball involved here. Lucky Tour will call it for a time with 7:18 left of the half. Just what a great day. It's been so good. It's just every game today has featured its own set of unique stars, its own unique flow, and they've all been close. They've all gone down to the wire. It's been such a fun day here at the Langley Event Center. The final game of the day, the final game of the season for girls in the province of British Columbia.
Well, you look at some of the other games that were fantastic representations of the programs and their style of play. This one feels personal. So, there's an element of not in my house, even though this is not really any team's house. But they're not backing down. And part of the concern that we've had with that, I would say the Yale-Argyle game, similar, not backing down, creates a situation where you have almost double-digit players fouling out of those games. So right now the refs are trying to allow the players to play, but at some point some of that contact will likely have to get called, because if the teams don't back down, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And then all of a sudden, instead of falling on someone, now you're actually trying to hurt somebody, which we don't obviously want to see in these games. But like we said, these teams are trying to protect something, obviously. Riverside trying to protect being the back-to-back. That's what they're looking for. Seaquam, they're taking offense to that. They want to be able to come in here and take that away from Riverside. So
can't spell it out any clearer than that, and that's a high-stakes game that we're playing here today. These teams play incredibly tough schedules all year long. They play each other over and over at tournaments and the like, and they know each other so well, as Coach says. And a lot of that spilling over here.
And crowds. Now, if you look at that last foul, off ball, grabbing from behind, as Avery Sussex is trying to, so they're now trying to reestablish what they're going to let the players get through. They understand it starts off ball typically, and then it finishes with something on ball, and oftentimes that's where coaches get really frustrated. That's not where it started. And oftentimes those are the calls that escalate the contact between players. So.
And And this time it's Isla Kelly with a steal. Cameron Tate bodying her right down the floor. Not giving an inch.
You know, Isla Kelly has been canceling out her steals so far, and it would be great to be able to maintain those possessions, shooting the gap really well, gaining, you know, tough defender, dirty defender, reading the play the right way. Just need to be able to get some offense from those defensive plays.
Neelam Sidhu kicking it back out. They go to Henderson for three, just off the mark. Neelam chases it down. Great play by Sidhu as she puts it off the window. Roufosse got a touch and a possession underneath. Is going to get fouled.
We talked about this lineup where they put Sydney Roufosse and Neelan on the floor at the same time. And again, the concern sometimes is this the lineup that Riverside can run against? But they're going to have to get the defensive rebound first before they can transition. So it really is our style versus your style.
Terrific job by Roufosse. She ties the game at 25. And she puts her team on top. Both these teams locking in. Three ball over the goal, and Tate now in the open floor. Quickly down the floor to Syra Tour. Ooh, Tate looking for Henderson. It'll stay with the Seahawks. I guess deflected. I think it was Neufeld that might have deflected that one. 19 on the shot clock here. Neelam cross court. Tate wants the three. Oh, and she hits a big triple there.
Challenge with this bigger lineup again is that if you decide that you're going to have to get a little bit lower, a little bit faster to defend the bigs, it's going to leave someone open on the perimeter. Cami Tate does a great job of knocking down that open three.
29 to 25 for Seaquam. And they scrap away in the scrum. They come away with Cameron Tate. Henderson, three ball from the corner. To 25, Seaquam. Goodness, they're getting it done right now.
You know, Avery Sussex has turned it over twice on that around the back type of move that she's attempted. And again, don't need to do too much at this point in time. Obviously, knocking down some outside shots is just releasing the pressure on what's been happening inside. But again, the refs are doing a great job of talking to each other to make sure that they're on the same page with what they're calling. It's loud in here. The fans are loud. They're going to have to make sure that a eye contact or a hand signal gets the message across, because you're not going to hear each other at this point if you're trying to say something across the floor.
I have to tell you, Coach, we did ask Jordan Knorr about the behind-the-back pass. She said, I was just saving it. So she pulled it out. There was a key part of that victory by Brookswood to start overtime to bring some flash to the crowd. And the basketball aficionados who love the flashy plays love that one from someone who's really fundamentally sound. She doesn't overdo it. It's tastefully done, and it was a terrific part of that overtime victory by Brookswood in the 3A final that just concluded before this game. Sussex coming into the timeout now with the basketball. Halfway through this second quarter, 5 minutes to the half. Roycroft. Avery Henderson guarding her. Sussex to Kelly. Inside to Neufeld. Looking for a cutter back up top, Kelly. One move off the window, and you're talking about the finish. At least she's going to get to the free throw line this time.
Settled down a little bit on that offensive series. Didn't try to do too much. Great rim attack. And again, the long finishes, hands up by the defender, but you're sliding along with her, and so the ref just waited just long enough to see if there was a call or not.
Callie Brost in for Neelam Sidhu, and I feel like Callie Brost has been sitting for a while. She's as dynamic a scorer as anybody on that Seaquam roster.
Well, let's see what kind of scoring looks change now that she's come on the floor. Obviously, they tend to push to her early in the corner, and then we'll see what she can do off the dribble. So, again, maybe it's just a, hey, hang out for a little bit. We've had a few costly turnovers. We need your ball handling skills let's just keep it simple.
Tours 3 is a mile high, just off the mark there is Tate passing out of the high post to her wing. Here's Sussex, squares up, slaps her hands after the miss, gets back down on defense quickly. Bross puts up the shot. Second chance underneath by Roufosse.
You know, we talked about the smaller guards having a hard time with Avery Sussex moves as she gets inside the key, and Mackenzie Henderson is not a small guard. She may, you know, have a height disadvantage, but in terms of her ability to physically pay Avery Sussex in that last drive, you can tell she's not able to get to the same type of scoring look.
My apologies for hitting the mic. Boy, that is loud. I'll be careful with my pen. And I probably got everybody in the listening audience wondering what that was. Apologies, as we are now on our 4th game, my 5th game actually of the day. So try and preserve the voice and keep it going here for you. What a game. 4:15 to the half. Back up top they go to Henderson now. Tour entry. Quickly, Seaquam moving it around. Here's Brost on the baseline, finding Roufosse wide open in the sweet spot.
What a beautiful feed. And it results in a turnover again, trying to get a quick fix scoring look up the floor there. You know, again, when these teams have had some fairly easy roads to the final at times, we don't know what they look like when they're flustered, and this might be a little bit of a version of Riverside when they're just a little bit off in turns, but we also know that they could score very quickly, so we'll see what happens the last 3.5 minutes of the quarter.
They haven't scored in at least 2.5, almost 3 minutes until that one right there. 3:31, the turnaround shot by Sussex in the paint. Roufosse with a miss underneath. She gets her own board again. That's an adventure down there from number 21, but you just love the heart, the motor, and everything she does. And what great teammates she has in Henderson and Tate, both reassuring her, the coaches as well, as she comes off the floor.
You know, we know how critical those offensive rebounds are going to be throughout this game, and so as much as it's sometimes you want to pull your hair out a little bit for those 2 or 3 misses that she gets, she's still finding ways to maintain possession of the basketball, which is going to be critical. One of the easiest ways to prevent Riverside from getting that board and getting on is having someone who can get multiple boards in a row. So again, we saw Avery go a little bit more to control, got a great scoring look. Sydney might need to go to a little bit more control, take a breath, and get that finish. So again, things will settle. But whereas we saw this a little bit in the 3rd quarter of that previous game when the score was close and no one was breaking away from each other, and the teams just have to settle down. The coaches know their athletes well enough to know what to say in these timeouts, and so you know, we've seen them come out of timeouts and be ready for the next challenge.
As we approach halftime here in our 4th and final game, the site of the building is a tribute to everything girls high school basketball is all about. They're moving to Arena Bowl next year, and if they're trying to make a show that they do deserve and need to, of course they deserve to, but that they will be able to maintain the atmosphere. Let's hope that does, because this place is full tonight. So this kind of a product, they're not going to have trouble getting people to bring the same feeling to the Arena Bowl. Sussex with the basketball. Roycroft setting the high screen. Avery from about 17, too strong into the hands of Tate. Cameron Tate now on the break. Knocked away from behind by Ray Roycroft.
You know, in the 3A final, we saw Jordan Orr maybe struggle with some of her finishes earlier in the game, and you know, we definitely saw the result of just being patient, keep going to those scoring looks. You know that it's going to drop eventually. You just got to stay and keep your calm and your cool.
Crazy to watch what had happened in that game, and there was some incredible statistical performances in that game. Oh my goodness, that is a brick wall. Sydney Roufosse and Sussex just got up quickly enough. But my goodness. You watch more basketball than me, Coach. Have you seen something like that before? I've never seen anything quite like that in terms of the contact that happened in that moment. Wow.
You know, as much as that's a really hard contact to take for a player like Avery, I love the fact the officials, she was there. She stood her ground. She ran into her. She hit the ground. And yes, it's tough to see that, but you know, we might have a competition first coach to a technical foul here. We have a lot of conversations happening on the sidelines, and the refs are starting to say, Coach, I hear you. Coach, I hear you, meaning, Coach, stop talking to me.
Underneath, the Seahawks, Tate unable to get that ripped away by Kelly. Isla coming down the floor at full throttle, right to the rim, can't finish again, and here's Callie Brost. This is like wind sprints in practice. Callie Brost right down the court, and she misses. So Avery says, I'm going to bring some a little bit more calm to this proceeding. She's going to try and break down Tate off the dribble, fading from 15, and both teams going coast to coast twice and missing at the rim.
Avery Sussex drops the first one and breaks the scoring drought from both teams over the last little stretch. Talked about a hectic pace. Great way to press the reset button for Riverside by hitting some free throws. So again, they're going to be shooting free throws for every foul for the next minute and a half. We'll see if they can capitalize on that.
Was that, I missed that, Coach. Was that 34-20? 34-30 the score. So here we go with 1:13 remaining. Entry into Tate. Off the back iron, and Neelam Sidhu trying to grab the ball off the rim from behind is going to get called for the foul. Neelam being hard on herself, but it is a physical affair here. So that's the third foul on Neelam Sidhu. And Lucky is not happy. Neelam saying, I'm not coming off the floor. I'm not sure if it was.
I've got it, Coach. And, you know, again, we talk about foul trouble playing a factor in this game. Sidhu now picks up her third. Cami Tate has two. And again, how is that going to impact the second half? Coaching decisions, when you sub, who you sub.
So 2 free throws there from Sussex with under a minute remaining, make it a 2-point game. Syra Tour on the wing inside, post up to Neelam Sidhu. High pass, touch it to the corner. Henderson, 3 is off the mark. Chasing down the ball there.
You know, Seaquam's got to be careful. They are trying to do this little flick on the back of the defender on the box outs, but they've already picked up a few fouls on that, and you know, Sidhu needs to be careful. They found her on that. That last one, they end up maintaining possession of the basketball, but again, what are the refs establishing in terms of what they're calling, and the athletes and the coaches have to make that adjustment.
Back up top, Henderson has missed a few in a row now after getting red hot early in the first half. Avery will take a breath, look at the clock, and see 17 seconds to the break. Henderson trying to lock in. Avery right to the window, lays it up and in with 4 seconds remaining. And that's going to do it. So 34 to 34. Is that right? 34-34.
That's right.
So I think that's keeping with the theme we're seeing here. As you say, let's start fresh in the third quarter. What a half that was. So the Riverside Rapids and the Seaquam Seahawks remain in a saw-off here at the half. And both teams headed off the court. So we'll take a short break here and be back in mere moments, about 5.5 minutes time or so, and we will set you up for the second half. Right here from the Langley Event Center. Quad A Championship Final set to finish off Super Saturday, 34-34. Back with more in a moment. And we're back with you here. Sorry about the lateness. I asked Bruce Langford one question. Here we are.
Dangerous.
Interesting, yes. So here we are, 34-34 the score. What a second half we're headed for here. Riverside wearing the whites here with the basketball.
Early turnover to start the half for Seaquam on offense, and again, early foul with Riverside going back to the free throw line. So again, don't back down is probably part of the conversation that was had at halftime with both teams, and again, forcing everyone to have to do their jobs well.
Settling in here is we watch Mendoza at the free throw line. 36-34 the score. Syra, Tour, cross court to Tate. Callie Bross wearing number 5. Opening up the wing area there for Bross, who can't get the finish. Wheatley deflected it into the hands of Neufeld, now to Sussex. 1 minute into the third quarter. Cross court they go. The shot is going to fall. And was that Annabelle Neufeld?
Bounced about 7 times there on the rim.
And underneath, Sussex will take the foul, trying to slow up Roufosse underneath the basket.
We look at largest leads in today's game. Riverside 7. And Seaquam having a 9-point lead, so we'll see if this is the start of potentially another lead. But again, we talked about both teams struggling to score early. A minute and a half in, we've had multiple scoring looks now for both teams. So again, is this going to be a different second half in terms of the physical play? We'll see how that plays a role in terms of foul outs or, you know, foul situations where the coaches are going to have to figure out who to have on the floor at the right time.
Sussex fading. And the contact underneath, count that baby as the 3-point play now possible for Sussex from the free throw line.
Such a strong move for her. Again, Callie a little bit longer than the Tour sisters who were starting to defend her earlier in the game. But that way she just kind of manhandles her way physically to get to the rim on that side. And it's a great use of her body to be able to get to the rim and great scoring look.
Avery will jump in the passing lane, one-on-one against Cameron Tate. The speedy Georgia Hart able to join the break down the floor to make that 2-on-1 pay off. And there's Bross with a top lead. She just picked up her 3rd foul. And Brooke or rather Mackenzie Henderson, there to check in. The three-pointer from Neufeld is off the mark. 5-point lead for the Rapids. Seaquam surely has another big run in them here. Tour down low. Ball's getting moved around well here. Down to 7 on the shot clock as Roufosse makes the turn. Olivia Wheatley standing in. Seaquam, right at the shot clock buzzer, Tour unable to get the three to fall. Sussex drives, spins, and a feather touch off the glass. Avery, Sussex at her best. Now up to 7 points.
Seaquam's shown 4 different defenders on her, and it doesn't seem to phase her. She understands the type of scoring looks that she needs to make. Now the call is blocking.
Mendoza's foul, her second of the game. Tate makes the first, and Neelam Sidhu set to check in at the next stoppage. Tour coming, or rather Tour coming out of the game, and Neelam Sidhu now back in. Here's Sussex. Mackenzie Henderson following Sussex around. Tate right to the window. Nobody tried to stop the ball there, and Cameron Tate went right to the glass. So right back to a one-possession game here.
You know, they're showing some different looks on some of those drives as she goes. There's one defender that's just trying to rip the ball out of her hands to see if they can disrupt her. And by that time, the third defender is supposed to slide in and get there on time. That time, a little bit late for Sydney Roufosse, picks up her second foul.
So Sussex at the free throw line here. There's been a lot of free throws shot over the last few minutes here in this game. (46-42), 4-point lead. Seaquam now back at the offensive end of the floor for the squad of the North Delta, trying to win North Delta's first provincial senior girls title in a generation plus. Two free throws upcoming now for the Seahawks.
Talked about ability to exploit the mismatches. That one, Avery Sussex on that defensive rotation often gets stuck behind the big, and it often works and sometimes it doesn't. On that situation, Sydney decides to go baseline and try to finish to her left instead of going middle as she typically has done, and ends up picking up the, getting to the free throw line by forcing the defender to pick up the foul on that one.
Roufosse makes the second, makes it a 3-point game.
Oftentimes you think in championship games, you want to see the top players finish the game out, and there's this tension between what the officials are calling and how the players are playing, and who backs down first. And so really feel like the officials are trying to establish a style of play here, making some early calls in terms of the contact stuff, and again, it's now up to the players to make that adjustment.
And as that style and everything gets sorted out, Sussex hits a huge three. That's a deep three from Sussex. And the answer from Seaquam, give the ball to Mackenzie Henderson. She could equalize in a hurry, but that one just off the mark. So 49-43.
calling an offensive foul there on the push-off on that attempted offensive rebound on Sydney Roufosse, I believe.
Indeed, Roufosse with her third foul of the game now. Heading to the midway mark of this third quarter of play, and Georgia Hart to hand off to Isla Kelly. Avery from the elbow, unable to draw iron on the shot, and Seaquam continuing to hang tight. Kelly playing for the steal. Tate on the baseline. What a pass to get it up for the three, and Cyratur off the mark. Just enough interference there as Kelly could hear the footsteps of Tate, and she missed the layup in transition.
Isla Kelly right now has one speed, and that's very fast. And so, you know, just being able to slow down a little bit, or hesitation might give her a better opportunity to finish those. But, you know, again, great defensive plays to missed opportunities on offense, empty possessions. In a game that's this close, empty possessions becomes really tough.
That is a hot potato. And just talk about what Riverside's doing defensively. Are they just extending enough that Seaquam can't make those passes? Because there were some quirky passes in that last offensive set for the Seahawks. Boy.
They were flying out at some of the pass fakes and overplaying a little bit in the first half. They're settling down a little bit and then forcing them to, we dare you to make that pass. And obviously, you know, in the first half, we saw more of the baseline drive kicks from Seaquam. Now they're trying a little bit more of those over-the-top skip passes.
Indeed, Neelam will have to turn the ball over there, but Bross made a great play, and she was coming back down the floor. Neelam was looking for Callie Brost on the wing. 4:14 left, third quarter. Low scoring, but Sussex has made some nice things happen on the court. Here's Neufeld, right back out to Avery. Puts it on the floor, no look to the corner for three, and Neufeld with a huge triple there. Annabelle rings a bell, 52 to 43. Sidhu in the post, passes it out. Mackenzie Henderson with a miss. And Roycroft and Sidhu battling, but Sussex is going to take over. This is the largest Riverside lead of the game. Right now at 9 points, surpassing, as you mentioned, Coach, their 7-point lead earlier. Henderson catch and shoot from her sweet spot right in front of the Seaquam bench.
Talked about largest leads and what it takes to make sure that it shrinks faster than you need to. That's a great example of going to a sure shot. Not necessarily that it's gone every single time, but you know with confidence that she's going to give it a chance to go in.
And I think able to kind of step into it there, so increasing the success rate. Soon get an update on Avery's point totals. Of course, 21 at the half, 8 of 16 shooting. Tate at the high post, underneath the Sidhu, and that's a bullet. What a great pass from Tate.
One of the things that Seaquam has done over the last few possessions is they just kept it simple instead of trying these really crazy skip passes, half-court passes, nice little high-low action. Sidhu, quick catch and shoot, not giving the help side time to recover.
How about, we have seen Annabelle Neufeld twice muscle her way in. And great to see she's added that to her game. Cyratur underneath. Frost is going to get hammered by Avery underneath the basket. I believe that'll be Sussex's third.
being at the right place at the right time has its benefits, and in that situation, even though I think Avery made a great athletic play to block that shot, the reality is that she gave up the position to cross before she could get the defensive stop.
And my apologies, that is her second foul. So with 1:57 left, that's Callie Bross at the free throw line. He's gonna miss them both, and Roy Croft will chase it down. Oh, Mendoza leaves it shy underneath, and Brooke, or Mackenzie rather, Henderson there to rip it away.
You know, it's funny, a few months ago we talked about the golfer Brooke Henderson and Mackenzie Henderson.
I think you did that to me. Can I blame you?
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Mackenzie Henderson shoot threes than Brooke Henderson play golf. I'll tell you that right now. Roy Croft in the paint. .48. Rapids can take their largest lead of the game here with a make. It's been that close a game. Oh, and Avery takes it. Physicality inside. No whistle there. Seaquam right down the floor. Mackenzie for three. Ooh, that is deep, deep, deep. And on the floor, Mendoza doing a great job trying to keep the ball away from Mackenzie Henderson.
Even though it's only a 8-point lead, and Seaquam's been able to pull it back within, you know, two possessions or so. Little points in this game feels like it's starting to slip away from them, though. You know,
yeah,
the ability to maintain that 3 or 4 point lead instead of it blossoming to 8 or 10 points.
Ooh, Sidhu stands strong underneath the basket, denies Roycroft, but stolen by Georgia Hart. Hart makes the moves and count that. That's a 3-point play upcoming for Georgia Hart. So the largest lead of the game right now at 10 points, and Georgia Hart will try and make it 11.
You know, talk about the challenges of not letting two negatives. In this case, two negatives do not equal a positive. I'm not sure if there's any math majors that can correct me on that one. But a great defensive stop, and then a turnover, and then a 3-point play potential, although she missed that free throw. Those are just not the way that you want to add things up at this point going into the fourth quarter.
58-48, 10 seconds left. The touch inside Roufosse, it's affected on the turnaround, and she's unable to score. And Neufeld's going to put up a shot here. And that's going to do it for the third quarter of play, 58-48. The defending champs have gotten a leg up here in terms of building a double-digit lead for the first time in this game. Your thoughts on what's going to happen in the fourth quarter? What you think is going to happen?
Well, you know, we've talked about the difference between playing with speed and playing frantic, and we know that Riverside can play that kind of tempo where all of a sudden you look up and you're like, weren't we just down by 4, and now all of a sudden we're down by 10. So, you know, again, keep your head up. We heard that as the team came to the bench for Seaquam, and it's a 10-point lead with the type of players that both of these teams have can disappear in the span of 4 or 5 possessions. So it's just a matter of not letting this 10-point lead become a 16-point lead, which against a team like Riverside, good luck trying to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk it over. Seaquam and head coach Lucky Tour getting into the details with his Seahawks. Same with the Riverside coaching staff as the Rapids are already ready to start the fourth quarter. You got some numbers there from the box score.
Well, you know, you look at the ability to get quality scoring looks, and you know, the challenge for Seaquam right now is it's not a matter of how many shots that they're getting, because they're getting a lot of shots. It's about finishing what they're getting. So, you know, when Sydney Roufosse has had a ton of inside scoring looks, 2 for 10 for the most part, all of those shots are inside the chart circle. They need to make a few more of those. You look at Mackenzie, you know, she's 5 for 15, all from the three-point line. If that's what you're going to live or die by, then you got to knock those down. And same thing with Callie, 1 for 11 and missing free throws. You know, just settling down and saying those are the shots that we need to make in this fourth quarter to win this game.
That three-pointer by Syra Tour off the mark. Syra will load up a game, and this time she'll hit one.
Signs of a three-point shooter, just keep shooting till it goes in, and obviously with that one, it's a timely three-point shot that I think Seaquam desperately needed at this point.
Taking three off the lead there is big for them at this point, 58-51 the score.
And so with that, Sydney Roufosse, I believe, picks up her 4th foul. And now again, Coach Lucky has to decide, do we keep her on the floor? Do we go smaller?
Syra Tour 0 for 6 from 3 before hitting that one. So maybe she'll get into a bit of a groove here. That could be big for the Seahawks. Here's Tate. Back to Tour. Tipped away there by Georgia Hart. And it's going to go out of bounds. Oh, Georgia. Boy, she got there in a hurry. Finds Avery, who's going to cue up a 3-ball. That one off the front iron. Henderson with the basketball. Roufosse. Tour shot clock now to 10. Henderson for 3, and that's not going to go.
We talked about a little bit of that frantic pace in the previous game to start the overtime, and then all of a sudden both teams realized we can settle down, and that's a little bit what this start of the fourth quarter feels like. There's a lot of time left on this clock. Every team, and especially these two teams, have multiple scoring weapons inside and outside. Settle down, get good scoring looks, but most importantly, take care of the basketball.
And there's a made 3. So that's now back-to-back threes. As Mackenzie Henderson knocks it down. She's having a terrific game from beyond the arc, 59-54. Neufeld. To Hart on the baseline. Goes around Roufosse, but Sydney doing just enough to affect the shot there. And Seaquam with a chance to get on a real roll here. Riverside has not scored in this corner. She knocks down a triple from the top. A bit of a dagger there for Syra Tour.
You know, we talked about not panicking, having a 10-point deficit, but making sure of your shots and back-to-back-to-back threes, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point game, and now does Riverside play differently?
Hard for 3.
Big collision, officials coming together, discussing the situation, getting the call right. From their perspective, of course, I'm sure all of the Riverside fans would not agree with that call. But again, the athletes right back into it. They're not spending a ton of time focusing on the last call that the officials are making, doing a great job of staying focused on the task at hand, which is the next possession.
5-point Riverside lead off the Hart triple, which ended that streak of 3 straight triples from the Seahawks. Here's Syra off the window. Roufosse is going to get that one to fall. She's been struggling down low, but for Sydney Roufosse, a big basket there.
The story is not written yet, Howard. I know there's oftentimes towards this where you would love to see where this is leaning, but you know, the reality is this is still anybody's game. 3 points, 1 possession. Sydney Roufosse establishing herself inside. Back-to-back finishes. I guess she heard my statement criticizing her scoring finishes in the first 3 quarters, so love to see an athlete respond to the challenge.
Well, what a huge play that was to make it 62-61. Seaquam finally has wrested all the momentum on their side. This is a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-3 run. Henderson will cue it up. That one will be a dagger if it falls, and it does. What a huge shot for Mackenzie Henderson. Timeout call on the floor. It's all Seaquam here down the stretch drive.
You know, oftentimes coaches will say, what type of lead do you not want to have going into the second half or going into the third or fourth quarter, and oftentimes it's that double-digit lead. You start slowing down, you start second-guessing early shots, and, you know, Riverside's gone cold a little bit here in this fourth quarter, so we'll see now how they respond. And again, we talked about the ability to punch back and punch back hard. Typically that tends to start with Avery Sussex, so we'll see what the game plan is after this timeout.
That is a 16-3 run. It's 2 threes from Syratour, 2 threes from Mackenzie Henderson, and 2 lay-ins from Sydney Roufosse inside. The inside-outside game, as you talked about.
Well, you know, what's great about this style of play for both teams is that they both can step up to the challenge. And so, you know, Riverside is not going to look at this score and feel sorry for themselves. They're going to look at the score as a challenge to demonstrate their ability to do what they can do.
And what did you think about Seaquam's ability to have a rally in them, you know, this late in the game? There was a real period where they were down here.
Well, you know, they were just making the shots that they were missing earlier in the game. And so, again, what does the coach say? Go back to the shots that we know could take. So some of those shots weren't dropping in the first, the second, and third quarter. They didn't try to reinvent themselves. They went back to what worked, and this time the shot stuck.
Back to live action here. As Sussex helped to quell the momentum here of the Seahawks, who bring a quick double team on hard in the baseline corner. Georgia doesn't panic. She gets it to Neufeld. Annabelle will find their main pivot in Sussex. She pulls up to the free throw line. Can't get that one to go too strong. Gets her own rebound, but loses it. Down the stretch they come. Numbers for Tate. She goes right to the window, and Tate lays it up and in. Again, they come up with it.
This is a combination of great defensive stands on Seaquam's part, but then also a little bit of a sloppy passing and ball movement on Riverside. They just need to settle down. Again, we talked about this 4-point lead can become an 8-point lead, can become a tie game very quickly with both these teams.
Well, Sydney Roufosse was 2 of 10 from the field heading into this fourth quarter, and look at her now. That's a reinvented player.
You know, she's exhausted right now, but this is exactly what her team needs from her. We talked about her as a catalyst in yesterday's game, and she's demonstrating that ability again to be a game changer for her team.
Unable to hit the first one, but a 4-point lead could be a 5-point lead if she can hit this one with 4:43 remaining. Makes it in the run now, 17-3. Sussex knifes through the defense, and that is a huge shoot for Riverside to gain their equilibrium. (67-64), one-possession game. Oh, look at that. Henderson dives on the floor, knocks it through, and Frost is going to finish it. Other side of the floor. Collision underneath the basket. It's Isla Kelly and Roufosse both hitting the time they call a blocking foul underneath.
This is her 5th and disqualifying foul, unfortunately. And as a player who's given it her all to her team. We'll see if her team can maintain the momentum that she has been a big part of establishing in this fourth quarter.
Oh, that is a picture. So Roufosse fouling out of the game at an emotional moment, but the grade 11 player met by head coach Lucky Tour, who had nothing but encouragement. Thank you for getting us here is basically his message, as Roufosse has to sit and watch. Tate to the window, can't finish it, but the play is blocked. 71-64. Where did this come from? My goodness.
Seaquam now settling things down. Lucky Tour kind of hold up just a little bit, get a great scoring look, force Riverside to have to show their hand a little bit defensively here. Are you going to settle down and just wait for the shot clock to run out, or are you going to have to try to force a scoring take?
Tate. Neelam Sidhu. Too many second chance opportunities for Seaquam underneath the basket.
You know, we talk about second chance opportunities, and both of the last two scores have been not necessarily ill-advised takes, but really rushed finishes that should have been great finishes. But again, great job by both players to follow up the play. Never assume that the ball is going in, a mantra that a lot of coaches will use. Great way for Seaquam to stay in this game, keep their lead.
That's Kelly. Again, a miss. And Paul Langford just got teed by the official. I'm not sure he's even saying anything to the official. I think he just had his hands on his head.
There's always something.
Hannah Burke, number 21, will come in. Wheatley will take a seat here. Goodness, this has been a massive run. If I'm not mistaken, this is a 25-6 run in the fourth quarter. My goodness. 3-pointers, points in the paint, steals at the other end. A lot of frustration for the Rapids, but Seaquam has come out here and done some amazing things and turned the tide here for a 9-point lead.
So again, the technical foul assessed, free throw shaken, and then again, the refs just making sure they know from the point of where the technical foul is taken, get it right, get this game going again.
Syra cross court to Cameron Tate. Baseline back up top, Syra. That one will fall shy. Neelam Sidhu hits the deck, saves it. Mackenzie Henderson with a 3 at the shot clock buzzer. Reset on the, and Lucky Tour telling his daughter, Syra, just eat some clock here. And right now Sussex comes in from behind, trying to knock the ball out. And Avery, obviously there's frustration here on the floor right now.
Well, at some point you're going to have to start doing your math and say, if you're going to let them do that and you're going to foul them, might as well foul them 3 seconds in and try to get possession back. So, we've got a timeout here on the floor. There's a lot of timeouts left for both coaches. So we'll see what the conversations are in terms of, do we have to start showing some desperation in terms of clock management?
A lot of things happen to turn this game around, Coach. And when you look at, like, I don't know, is it a change in attitude? Is it just playing off the confidence of the string of made threes that turn the game? How do you look at, just kind of curious how you look at the way this thing changed?
Well, you look at a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter with Riverside, thinking that for the most part, many of the games that they've played, a 10-point lead has become a 20-point lead fairly quickly. I think they settled for some less than perfect shot selection with a 10-point lead, and then, you can tell that Seaquam had the do or die mentality, and all of a sudden the shots that hadn't been dropping dropped. So being able to adjust to what's happening in the game now, the deficit is quite large for Riverside to be able to come back into. So we'll see them go on attack mode for sure, try to get the ball back and see what happens. But now it's about Seaquam not losing the ball.
1:48 remaining, 73-64. And Riverside coming out of the timeout, getting set to try to make the comeback of their lives here. But Seaquam does have the basketball in the front court with Syra Tour. Here's Tate. She'll chase it back down, get it across half court. Ooh, and Isla Kelly coming in too strong there, and another foul being called against Riverside. That'll be the 4th team foul.
Not in the bonus situation yet, so again, how much time are you going to let Seaquam take off the clock before you have to get the ball back? So again, this challenging the passes but allowing them to dribble out the clock ends up being costly.
And they will foul with 1:28 remaining.
No, actually that ends up being a jump ball situation there. Ideal for Riverside to be able to not have to give some free throws up to be able to get back the possession of the ball.
So the jump ball situation, is Riverside. On the alternating possession taken, it's Sussex. Needs to make something happen. She challenges Neelam inside, can't get it to go. And Callie Brost, just an evening of frustration here for the Rapids. Cross court they go. That one knocked by Verk, and she does some good work here to get her team back across half court. Finds Sussex. Annabelle, the 3. That one's going to fall for Annabelle Sussex. 55.7 seconds left. 73-67 the score.
Again, you talk about the ability to have multiple shooters on the team and what a 6-point lead is. It's only 2 possessions. So, quick foul there, send them to the free throw line. And now what's the game plan? As quickly as we can, get the ball up the floor, get a good look.
Never say die, say the Riverside Rapids here. Syra Tour is going to take a pretty big free throw, though, in terms of the possession game, and that will fall for her.
We have seen so many different types of shots in today's game. The clunker there a little bit kind of hits the back rim and goes in, but you know what? Ugly but effective, gets the job done, because that makes it a 3-possession game now.
Yeah, that's a real tough one there. Here's Avery, everything in her might to try and get this done, and she's going to get fouled underneath the basket.
That's Georgia Hart there, fighting and still...
Oh, excuse me, Georgia Hart, yes.
It's all good.
So Georgia now set to shoot a couple, and with the clock stopped, that's ideal for Riverside to try and gain some ground here. 74-69. That is a 5-point game. Look at Tate go. She is so graceful coming down the court all the time. Here's Henderson to Tour. And Georgia's going to reach in and foul. Got added to some trips here for Tour. 32.4 seconds remaining. going to make them both ice Spain to 76-69. The lead now at 7 points. So right back to 7.
And again, Riverside now has an opportunity to decide, advance the ball, give up some of the shot clock, but at this point, the shot clock and the game clock are your enemy. So being able to get to some good scoring looks. Last time down the floor, they were trying to get a scoring look for Avery, and it really actually cost them quite a few seconds for her to get to a scoring look. So we'll see if they play maybe with a little bit more space, or go to an earlier screening action, or go to a lob play or a post up for her. Again, both teams will be in bonus regardless of what happens in the foul type situation. So the goal is you need to get offense quick, and so whether it's an open three, a free throw, anything that gets you offense is a desired look at this point in time.
Boy, the game changed. We were just talking about in this game how big a 10-point lead actually was, and that's exactly what Seaquam faced coming into the fourth quarter. And coming into the, was that the half? No, coming into the third quarter. They were trailing 58-48. Roycroft with a layup. Georgia with a steal went down the floor and made it 58-48 heading into the fourth quarter. And wow, what happened in the fourth quarter? A fourth quarter team just like they were at TBI, finding that spark and really rolls to find. Seaquam has looked so good here in the fourth quarter.
So again, the end of the shot clock, when there is a foul before the ball gets inbounded, it's not just a regular foul. So again, costly where this might be free throws and possession of the basketball. So we'll see what so no lineup. So again, that tends to happen, and again, players not understanding that picking up that foul can be costly, because now a 7-point lead can become 2 free throws plus something else right away, or I believe it's just 1 free throw, sorry. Sometimes you see a deep three that an athlete takes earlier in the game, and you say, why would you take that? For that reason.
Yeah,
to make sure that when you need to dial it in at the end of the game, it's locked and ready to go.
Well, we're just going to take a short little break here. Be back in just a second for the final few moments here from the Langley Event Center. Strange happenings here on the 4-point play by Avery Sussex to make it 76-73. Now down to a 1-possession game, and Avery uses one there, 25.2. So with 25.2, Sarah Tour now at the free throw line.
You know, with about 30 seconds left, I was going to ask you, which team would you trust to be able to hit 2 threes in 30 seconds? And the answer would have been Riverside. So,
but Tour does hit the second one, and that makes it a 2-possession lead here. Neufeld for 3 over the goal.
you know, the interesting thing is not how they're defending Avery, but the fact that they're leaving Annabelle wide open to get that shot. So again, leaving the door open for Riverside is a dangerous practice, but pays off in terms of the defensive rebound, getting fouled, and now Callie Pross is shooting free throws.
As Callie steps up and nice feint, hits 2. Seaquam feeling good, but still time left here with a 6-point lead, and Riverside and Avery Sussex, you never count them out of anything here. Seaquam fans and Riverside fans are just knee deep here along the sidelines in this sold-out center court complex today. Both sides looking for a reason to celebrate on the court. Let's hope everybody keeps everything safe here at the end of this game. But boy, some incredible moments to come here. Regardless of who wins this game, it's going to be dramatic, and it's going to be the end of, I got to say, I have not seen 4 provincial title games in a row that would even come close to matching when you get every game like this. It's been amazing.
Well, you know, you look at in the world right now, watch women win is a trademark that we're seeing over and over again, and I think that today applies. Great basketball, great celebration of the game, and not just the game of basketball, but obviously the women's basketball game. And we're seeing some future superstars and current superstars at the high school level, but some of the things that these athletes are going to do at the next level, it's pretty exciting.
That is well put, Coach. And here we go. 16.8 seconds. Riverside will inbound the basketball. They're trailing by 6. Georgia Hart, collides with Neelam. Right down the court they come, and they come in. I thought they were going to foul there with 4 seconds left. This is going to be a Seaquam victory. The Seahawks from North Delta will win. At the Quad A tier, the Seaquam Seahawks senior girls team are the BC champions. What an amazing season they have had as they stun #1 ranked and #1 seeded Riverside in the championship final here at the Langley Event Center. What a performance, and what a turnaround from a 10-point deficit to own the 4th quarter. There was poise everywhere, and it took the mark of a champion to beat a absolutely fabulous foe like the Riverside Rapids. We have to tip our hat to both teams here on this historic night of incredible BC Senior Girls Basketball. The Seaquam Seahawks, they indeed are the champions. What a performance as they come through with a 79-73 win. Head coach Lucky Tour and company, the champions of BC 4A basketball.
You know, you think about all the hard work, and again, we've seen so many finals where, you know, 10 minutes to game time finishing, we're already talking about championships, and we've had to hold our breath at the final marks of every single one of these games. What a great moment for basketball today.
And every player that saw the floor for Seaquam today will be back next season, and I think that's a pretty scary thought for the rest of the province. There are some amazing scenes taking place in Avery Sussex in tears. What a competitor she is, and what she's done for basketball in this province for high school girls is amazing, Coach. I mean, she's the Caitlin Clark of BC high school basketball, and I don't say that lightly.
Well, you know, we talk about being able to match something that you can see, and when you see younger athletes being able to witness some of these athletes and the success that they've had, one of the challenges that we had after COVID was it kind of had to reset the button, and a lot of basketball looked like junior girls basketball. And I kept saying that. Provincial championships 2020, 2021, it looked like junior girls. This looks like senior girls basketball, and it's a great way to celebrate so many different athletes across all levels. What a great way. We talked about the single A's having set the tone for everybody else, and I feel like everyone else definitely met that standard and raised it one.
Boy, it's going to be tough to pick the MVP here for this Seaquam team. If indeed the MVP is coming from Seaquam, which we expected, has happened before that it's come from the losing team. And Avery Sussex led all scorers with 35 points. She had 9 rebounds and had a great game here with a couple of assists as well. But your thought? I mean, we can just have a little bit of fun for a second here as the interviews are happening on the floor. But Cameron Tate certainly looks like a prospect to do that. I don't know what your thoughts would be.
In terms of
an MVP?
It's hard to say. I mean, I would almost give it to the entire team at this point because they all did exactly what they needed to do. Obviously, she had some great moments and settled things down. I think one of the things that she did really well is that she didn't let the transition pressure that Riverside has really stifled everyone else's game.
Yeah.
And so again, typically what you would see is the guards handling pressure, bringing it to a big, and then that's where the problems ensue. And so for her, she's constantly getting the ball in the middle of the floor and then attacking from that space, and it really threw off Riverside's ability to take advantage of possessions of the basketball. So, you know, in terms of if that's what a most valuable player is, taking the other team's style of play away from them, then for sure that's who she was today.
But you are right, there are a lot of options here, and we'll let them worry about such matters. Seaquam brought a team effort today, and so did the Rapids. What a way to wrap up a historic season with the 1, 2, 3, and 4A all played here at the Langley Event Center. Hey, Coach, I got to say an extreme thank you. I'm sure our listeners, our viewers all feel the same. We so
24 BC School Sports 4A Girls Basketball Provincial Tournament Awards Ceremony. This is the 74th annual tournament and a great tradition. On behalf of the Township of Langley, the Langley Event Center, and BC School Sports, congratulations to all the teams, players, and coaches, and thanks to all of our fans for their support throughout the week. We know all of our fans are excited to get some great photos, but we ask that you stay behind all of the stanchions until the end of the ceremony, and you'll have a chance for photos then. We would like to begin with the recognition of all of our sponsors and partners to help make this tournament a success each year. You've seen their signage around the facility, their ads in the program, and received some prizing. We'd like to give a round of applause to all of the sponsors on the video board right now. We'd also like to recognize the efforts of the 4A tournament directors, Thomas Theron and Ramin Senagani, and a special thank you to the awards selection committee for all their time and attention during the tournament. And a big thank you to all the game directors and other volunteers, including our minor officials and our game officials. We would like to recognize 3 special 2024 scholarship recipients. Earlier today, the $1,000 Sir G. Carr Bright Memorial Scholarship was presented to Lauren Van Dyke from Abbotsford Christian. Next, the Quinn Keese Foundation will provide a $1,000 scholarship to the most complete player who represents the qualities that Quinn stood for, including sportsmanship and dedication, both of the student athlete and a member of the school community. Christina Brown will represent the Quinn Keese Foundation and present the scholarship. This year's scholarship goes to Ava Hepner from Yale. And our third scholarship of the evening is the Inspiring Bandit Award, presented by the Vancouver Bandits Professional Basketball Club. The recipient of the $1,000 scholarship demonstrates on-court excellence, defensive grit, maintains strong, positive relationships with peers and coaching staff, and displays a focus of sportsmanship. Kyle Julius, the general manager and head coach of the Vancouver Bandits, will make this award presentation. This year's Inspiring Bandit Scholarship goes to Denise Mendoza of Charles Best. Congratulations again to all of the teams who competed in this year's tournament. The teams listed on the video board were all presented their 16th through 9th place plaques at the conclusion of their final game today. And these teams now receive their 8th through 3rd place placement plaques, including in our bronze medal game today, 4th place Yale Lions, and our bronze medal winners, the Okanagan Mission Huskies. And after a great final game that we just got to see here, our 2nd place, Riverside Rapids, and the 2024 Provincial 4A champions, Seaquam Seahawks. On to our championship game awards. The first one, the player of the game of the championship game, receives the official player of the game t-shirt presented by the Vancouver Bandits and A&W Canada. Congratulations to the championship game player of the game from Seaquam, Mackenzie Henderson. Our tournament All-Stars are up next. The 2024 4A Girls Second All-Star team. From the Argyle Pipers, number 6, Reese Tan. From the Yale Lions, number 5, Maeva Corneline. From the Okanagan Mission Huskies, number 13, Faith Hunter. From the Lord Tweedsmuir Panthers, number 5, Hannah Grewal. And from the Seaquam Seahawks, number 21, Sydney Roufosse. And now for the 4A Girls First All-Star team. From the Riverside Rapids, number 4, Annabelle Neufeld. From the Riverside Rapids, number 22, Georgia Hart. From the Okanagan Mission Huskies, number 11, Presley Hoff. From the Seaquam Seahawks, number 13, Mackenzie Henderson. And from the Seaquam Seahawks, number 14, Cameron Tate. And now the Most Outstanding Defensive Player Award. Congratulations to the 2024 Most Outstanding Defensive Player from the Seaquam Seahawks, number 14, Cameron Tate. Next up is our Most Valuable Player Award. Congratulations to the Most Valuable Player of the 2024 BC School Sports 4A Girls Basketball Provincial Championships from Riverside, number 9, Avery Sussex. Earlier today, the Basketball BC Officials Association presented the Most Sportsmanlike Team Award to the Okanagan Mission Huskies. Congratulations to them. And now on for our second place medals with the Riverside Rapids. Please come forward to receive your silver medals. Riverside is also being presented with the second place picture and award plaque. Congratulations, Riverside. We would now like to ask the 2024 BC School Sports 4A Girls Basketball Tournament Champions, Seaquam Seahawks, to make their way on stage to receive their championship medals. As Seaquam comes on stage, they will also be presented the Baden Championship Game Ball, as well as the championship picture and championship trophy. Next up, the 4A Jostens Championship Rings will be presented by Annette Vandekamp from Jostens. And now the championship banner will be presented by Jordan Abney from BC School Sports. As Seaquam leaves the stage, we have championship t-shirts for all of their team. We invite them to head to the far end of the court for the traditional cutting of the net. And we thank everyone for joining us here tonight and attending this year's tournament. Congratulations again to all of our teams. We look forward to seeing you back at the Langley Event Center in 2025.